Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Guns and Yellow Ribbons. My name is Fergus. It's a change lineup for tonight's show with Trevor and the boys off to Bilbao. It's my other two good friends. We've got Andrew and Dale who are going to cover us tonight. We are going to talk about Nottingham Forest, and we also will look at the start of our European tour. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
Hello, good evening, lads. How are you? I'm not in really a good mood. I got a lecture from the doctors today about I need to behave myself and change my lifestyle, lose some weight. And the fun police are absolutely crap. Absolutely crap. I just don't like it. I just really don't like it. Dale, what's happened to your face?
I know. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Dale. I'm the new guy here. You may have seen my brother before with a big beard and stuff, but yeah, I've got told. Oh, the wife decided she liked the photos of me when I looked a little bit younger. So we tried it.
A long time ago,
I hate
weren't
it.
they?
Yeah, you're not wrong. But I've discovered a few more chins that I didn't know I had. So,
well, on a positive, you don't look like Jamie O'Hara as much anymore.
Never looked like Jamie O'Hara. So let's move swiftly on. How are you, Andrew? Are you well?
You don't get away with that one, mate. You definitely did used to. You were definitely his body double, mate. Well, your face double.
Face double, yeah. I doubt it was body double. The guy was a professional athlete after all. Listen, we don't have Hillsy around, and because we don't have Hillsy around, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for me to do all these comments because, well, I just showed Andrew my screens, it's a lot busier than what the boys are seeing. I've got a lot more buttons on here to control.
On that note, Ferg, because Hillsy's not here, it doesn't mean you can pick on me and Andrew and try and wind us up like you do Trev. So just remember that, all right?
I won't.
He'll be back to fight our corner at some point.
Listen. If you look back at those, it's him who winds me up. I just sit here and click buttons, and then he just drops in shit like you've just dropped in right there. So, hey,
which one of us is going to fall out tonight? Is it going to be me and Dale, or Dale and Ferg? You know, there's got to be some sort of bickering contest at some point.
Oh, hang on, live from Bilbao.
Oh no way!
Here we go.
Oh my God!
Oh, here we go. Let's put them on. Trevor.
Forever. Hello, boys. Trevor.
Hello, mate. We were just saying that you were maybe going to make an appearance. That you're out there. Have you hit that low-calorie whiskey yet?
No, it's about to happen. And they also hear that the drink of Bilbao is red wine and Diet Coke. So I'm well in.
Yes.
Yes.
So we could add a splash of whiskey, and Donna will be well pleased.
Look, Donna's already.
That's love.
Hello, my beauty. I've not had a drink, boys, so you can stick all the pins in me you want, Fergus. You won't get anywhere because I'm so.
Mate, you missed the start. I've had the lecture of all lectures from my doctor. I've got to go your journey soon. So yeah, I'll talk to you.
I don't say that as good as I want to see your pain and suffering of doing it. I'm good because it won't do you no harm, pal. That's all.
Yeah, it's just a fun police. I don't fun police.
You fantastic.
I'll tell him to shut up. If he's not willing to get on himself, tell him to go away.
But put it on. You've got to put it on the 4 screens, top and bottom, and then it'll be wider, and we'll be able to get me and Dan on.
Who's on tonight?
Yeah, Dan, get in here.
Okay, all right, okay. I like the other screens. Right, listen. Tonight we are going to talk about the Nottingham Forest game. We're going to talk about the lineup and the changes in the lineup, and obviously with the lads out in Bilbao, we are going to talk the European tour, the start of European tour. Dan's been in Bilbao since 2:00, and the Mao has been pouring down his throat. So I'm sure it'll be entertaining.
We've had a bit of a journey already. We've decided we're not allowed to stick to the same drink in 2 rounds in a row. So we've tasted a few, and the Coke and red wine is bellissimo.
We're in Spain, Italy. Jesus.
You didn't have to come across very English there. Bellissimo. I'm in Spain. Bellissimo. Oh, I love that, Dan. Right, let's look at these lineups. Well, actually, let's look at the stadium first of all. We went to the stadium. The atmosphere was a little bit flat. And guys, just jump in as and when you feel fit. But the atmosphere was a little bit flat in the stadium on the concourse. But I think because of the Postecoglou factor in the stands, it was a decent enough atmosphere. But there has been some changes at the stadium as well. Now, as we know that the women's football use the Emirates Stadium as their home ground, they have added all their trophies. I'll play this video and then we can have a quick chat about your thoughts on it. So this is the video that I took in a lull in the game. And you can see from 1992 right through to 2025 all the various trophies that Arsenal have, both the men's and the women's game. What's your thoughts on this, guys? Dan, I spoke to you briefly about it. What's your thoughts on having them up there? On this, for me, I have no issue with having them up there, but I just thought like having them combined was just a little bit. I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Well, I'm all inclusive, Fergus. Don't know about you, so I've got no problem with it at all.
How can you say I've got no problem with it, but you've either got a but or you've got no problem? Not both.
Well, clearly I've got a but. The doctor's told me to lose some weight. But my issue is really only. I think there should be their achievements should be held individually really, really well. Then we've got two tiers. You could easily have the ladies team having all their trophies.
You're out of order.
Okay. Andrew, Dale, your thoughts? Because these guys are just going to be, there's going to be
loads. You're out of order.
I'll be honest with you, mate. I didn't even notice it. Till you pointed out. So it's stadium decoration. I've got no thoughts on it. Neither here nor there.
Okay.
As long as the achievements are on there.
Yeah, no, I think the achievements should be recognised, Andrew. Yeah, but should they be recognised side by side or separately, or because they're individually done very, very well.
I suppose we're all one club, aren't we? And we celebrate successes all together and have them all there. But I personally think they should be separate because I think the women's game deserves its own separate part as well as the men's game. So, but it's each to their own, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was my point. It's not having a go with the women's game or the men's game or whatever. It's just I just think they should be recognised individually. So
yeah, I do. I agree with you.
Yeah. So I was just conscious because I spoke to Dan about it on the day, and he, we spoke about it briefly, but it wasn't a major thing. I just thought anyway.
A bigger issue for me, Ferg, which I don't know if anybody else has thought this, right? Maybe it's just me being picky, but these new LED hoardings they got around the outside on different levels.
Yeah.
God, they're bright sometimes, aren't they? It's literally you're trying to watch the game and you you see something just go bright yellow and you can't. You're, wow, what's that all about? And
funny enough, Dan mentioned that.
You know what I can't understand here, right? We've had one of the best performances I've seen in a long time against Nottingham Forest on Saturday. You're 8.5 minutes in and you've spent most of that time talking about something as trivial as a few stickers around the stadium. We're a football club, whether some people like it or whether some people don't. I know everyone to their own opinions, but it's a football club. It's the Arsenal, and they're the trophies the Arsenal has won. So I've got no issue with it, to be honest.
And Fergus is out.
Okay, no. Listen, that's a fair comment. I was just trying to talk about like the atmosphere in the stadium and building up the stadium. You normally chat for at least 10 minutes before we even get a chance to talk about a game normally. So. But just finishing up on Dale's point there, Dan, you did mention about the new LED boards that they made a big impact, and you were looking at ways that maybe the club could possibly use them to build atmosphere in the stadium.
Yeah, no, a genuine point on that. The LED screens and bits, I think when the colours completely changed the perspective of the stadium. So definitely something in a meeting with a club because. I think it just changed.
Good or bad?
No, it's in a good way.
In a good way.
The colours of them changed, and when it changed from, for example, red to blue, the whole stadium changed. And I think those screens could be used as part of a tifo with an effect for the ground.
Yeah, I get that.
What to think about?
Maybe blue should be banned, though. I'm not happy with blue.
It's hilarious, actually. You say that when
brown.
Trev, when you say that, when we go to the Tottenham Stadium and their sponsors come up with red and white, I just think it's hilarious when you see it's all red and white right around the ground.
You do realise though, we can't ban red, we can't ban blue, because if we do, Liverpool will accuse us of copying them, because we copy them at everything, don't they? We copy Liverpool all the time on songs, and that's the last thing we want.
Why don't we red, white, yellow, blue?
Touche.
Right.
What,
Let's talk about the game, guys. Your audio is really poor, so we need to make sure that you're speaking to
listen, tell you what, boys, then we're going to drop off and let you get on with it, because we've only just arrived. We ain't done nothing yet, so we'll drop off and let you boys get on with it. All right, and we'll.
All right, if that's what you want, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll talk to you a bit later.
All right, mate. Have a good time. Keep safe, and I'll chat to you tomorrow, I'm sure.
Stay safe, guys.
It's probably for the best, because the audio was pretty poor, and our audio was a bit stronger, so you couldn't hear them when we spoke over them anyway. So
it's certainly less eventful than Madrid last year, wasn't
it? Yeah, it's amazing what it's like when Trevor's sober and Dan's on like the take it easy mode. Right, okay, we're 11 minutes in. Let's talk about this game. Let's look at the lineups. We had David Raya, and the lineups are really stand out, because we had a lot of changes from like last season's squad, with David Raya, Timber, Mosquera in for Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Zubamendi in, Merino in, so the Spanish midfield. Odegaard started but didn't make very far into the game. Madueke, Eze and Gyökeres. Andrew, I'll go to you first. Thoughts on that lineup, and especially that forward line, I suppose. And I'll talk to Dale about the midfield afterwards. But talk to me about that forward line.
I'll tell you where my eyes first went. From there, it was straight to the bench, and I thought, where's Rice? Where's everybody? And I think I messaged you, didn't I, during the game when Odegaard went off as well. But the strength and depth of that lineup and that bench is phenomenal. You look at with the window we've had, but when you look at now, Eze, Madueke, and Gyökeres up front, it's unreal. I mean, I've been desperate to see that for ages since Eze signed, and wow. I mean, you can't say any more, can you? I mean, Madueke was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And all those people that signed that petition, literally, that's just rubbed your face right in it.
I say thank you to all those people, and can now sign the petition for Nketiah as well, please, because it clearly motivates a player just to prove them wrong. So
just
idiots.
I mean, the amount of times he picked that ball up, and he absolutely made Nico Williams I can't remember who was marking him first to start with as well, but he just made Williams look second, second division, because he just ran past him every time, and his directness into the box, he's going to do some damage for us this year. And just the way he plays is just fantastic. He reminded me of Mark Overmars. Get your head up and get in, drive into that box as quick as you can.
Dale, the midfield, with having the Spanish midfield, would have Moreno and having Zubamendi in there. They had scored 6 goals, I think, in their international break. And, they created a lot in there. And carried on from Dan H's comment here, I can't believe the depth nowadays. When you compare what we had on the bench, which Andrew talked about, compared to when we played PSG all those few months ago, the work they've done over the summer is fantastic.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I think it was Arteta himself who mentioned Merino. You couldn't not play Merino after his performances at international level. When a player's in form, you want to bring that form into the club as well from the international stage. So I'm not surprised Merino started, in all honesty, especially with Rice being dropped, because Rice always gets ran into the ground for England, just like Saka does. So they probably could. They could. If there's a game you're going to rest them, it's a game that you should win at home against Notts Forest. Now, Forest are a good side, but let's be honest, I don't think Kanji's a good manager. I don't think he was a good manager at Tottenham. He made his name at Celtic, where you're going to finish first, second in the league. And I think, again, he got found out at the weekend. I spoke to a Forest fan in the week, and he said, we haven't got bad players. He said, we didn't expect much from the Emirates, but we didn't expect it to be as one-sided as what it was. And I mean, I'll touch more on that later. But going back to midfield, Zubamendi, we knew was going to be quality when he came in. So I had absolutely no concerns about the midfield. The one point I do want to touch on is we've got a very, very, very good problem to have, right? And the media are not talking about it. They're all talking about Liverpool got a really big problem because how are they going to fit Isak in above whatever his name is, the other guy they signed.
We've got that on here, yeah, definitely. I know where you're going. I know exactly where you're going.
But for me, the one I'm still excited about is Eze. I thought played very well at the weekend, but I'm excited to see him in that 10. That's where I want to see him. But Wanyeri, that being said, when he came on, I thought was phenomenal.
Yeah. So if we look at that, so not long into the game, I think it was about 10 minutes into the game, Odegaard came down extremely heavy. I've seen it. I didn't know it's at the other end of the pitch to us guys, and I knew he went down, and I could see him rolling in the box. I didn't know how heavy he went down, but seeing it on the replays on Match of the Day, etc., you can see he comes really heavy down on there. But Wanyeri, I thought. Like me and Dan were talking, and Dan thought he would have pushed Eze maybe into that 10 role and then brought on Trossard or Martinelli on the left. But he didn't. He gave the minutes to Wanyeri. And I'm really pleased that he gave the minutes to Wanyeri, because Wanyeri didn't do anything wrong throughout the game. There was a thing that we talked about on I think it was Friday. I said to Trevor about one of the guys who was talking to me about Mascara not noticing the player in the defensive role. That's actually a compliment when you see a player that you don't really notice in a defensive role. But Wanyeri sitting there just pulling the strings, everything just flowed. It didn't feel clunky. Yeah. It flowed very well. Andrew, how did you think Wanyeri performed throughout the game? If you were to give him like a score out of 10, where are you going?
I think you've got to give him a very solid 8 and a 9. I'm going to go 9. I was going to go 8 and a half. I'm going to go 9. Because I think the energy he brought to the midfield was phenomenal. He chased everything down, and the press was brilliant. I mean, not only did we press really well from the front, look at Gyökeres. He chased so much back to the halfway line, but then the difference was he managed to get them back into the 18-yard box when we were attacking. His forward play is phenomenal. But look at Manweri, and he looks like he's got this, in that role, he's been given a bit of freedom to go and do what he wants and to go and sort of to chase down and commit and be creative, which is what he can do. But I'll be really honest, when the board went up and it said 22, I was like, really? And I was, I was really surprised. And fair play to him, because he's taken that chance with both hands.
Would you have pushed Eze into the 10?
Yes, that's what I thought he was going to do. And that's why I think it's such a great point that Dale said, because we were talking about it on the way, but walking up, weren't we? Where's he going to put Eze? Where's he going to put him? And I think we even said, didn't we? I think is he going to drop Odegaard and put Eze in the 10? And it's like you can't really do that. But he was just the whole team. We were talking about who do you actually go for who's been the best player on the day. I couldn't pick one.
Yeah, my only surprise on that lineup that we saw was that Rice was on the bench and he wasn't picked. But then again, he played 90 minutes for England and had 2 really good and influential games. Adam puts in here, Del, he thinks we played better without Odegaard. No hate on Odegaard. I think that's harsh. Do you?
It's a tough one. I mean, ultimately, Odegaard, we know he's world class, right? He didn't get given the captain's armband because he's a bad player, right? He got given it because of his influence on games and the ability to lead the team. There's been a lot of talk over the last few months about captaincies, about Odegaard's performances. Let's not forget he had a lot going on in his life, right? He had a baby. He was very, very ill. This shoulder injury, I don't think is something new. I think it's been going on for a while. I mean, the last league game, it played up in that. I'm surprised he played.
That's when he got it, I think, Dale.
Yeah, exactly. Which is
yeah.
why I'm surprised he played as much as he did for Norway, especially when they were comfortably winning like they were. But that just goes to show the character of the guy, right? It can be seen as a positive or a negative. The positive is he wants to play, he wants to do well, he wants to drive his team forward, right? But at the same time, I think one of the things he's got to realise is that injury, he probably knew about that, and he must have known there was something not quite right, because it's the second time it's happened in as many games now. Maybe he didn't, and maybe I'm wrong, but if that's the thing, maybe does he need to say to Arteta, look, my shoulder isn't quite right. We've got a great squad at the minute. Do we need a bit of time on the bench?
It's a huge point, and Gary touches on it there again. When we did lose Odegaard, we brought on Wanyeri. We didn't look any weaker. The depth in the squad is phenomenal. Absolutely no reason to, no reason to worry. And he goes on to say about destined for success this season. But it does give us the opportunity. So last season, when Saka or Odegaard or any of the players got injured, the second they were just ready to come on the pitch, they're on there for 90 minutes, playing. 2-3 games a week. Now, with the squad that we've got, the depth that we've got, we can allow time for these players to recuperate properly. We don't just have Wanyeri. We've got other players, including Eze, including Dowman, who all can play in that 10 role. And this is what I mentioned last week, is so much, especially the forward line. Well, actually, nearly in every position, bar the goalkeeper, we've got probably about 3 players or 4 players that can play in every individual position. Players that I want to talk about as well. We'll come back to Zubamendi in a minute, but Mosquera, I think we're going to get sued. I think we're going to get sued by Valencia. He looks so solid and comfortable on the ball. He's so happy to play out from the back. Dale, Saliba comes back in a couple of weeks' time. He's the Rolls Royce, we say, but bloody hell, they got a Wraith as well, a Rolls Royce Wraith in Saliba. Is he a Phantom? Is he a Wraith? Which Rolls Royce is Mascara?
Even Rolls Royce has competition. Even Rolls Royce has competition, right? Within the market. And my God, we've picked out one there, haven't we? Every so often you get a gem that comes through, and you go, "Whoa, God!" Everyone sings, "We got Declan Rice half price." What does that mean we got Mascara for? Jesus Christ. What a player he is, by the way.
Poundland's fire sale.
Yes. I'll be honest, when he first came in, I didn't know much about him. Same as that Hincape. I mean, he may turn out to be just as good. We don't know. But the reality is I didn't know much about him. But I trust the club. As Trevor always says, I trust our manager and I trust the board to make the right decisions at the moment. And yeah, we needed another centre-half, someone who can play there. And the reality is you can't drop him. Based on his recent 2 performances, you cannot drop him. There's Saliba's back in training. Saliba is training, but this is my question. I'm going to flip back to you now. Saliba, every time he's played against Haaland, has had him absolutely pocketed. So Saliba has worked out Haaland, in my opinion, nothing more. What do? Do you change it, or do you to bring in Saliba, who's got a good track record, or do you stick with what's working at the moment and go with what we are? Bearing in mind, Mosquera hasn't played against well, then again, he has. He played against Liverpool. So he's got that experience. I don't know.
In his 2 seasons at Valencia, in Spain, he missed only 1 league game. He played like 39 out of 40 games for them. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not paid that money. Arteta's paid that money to make that decision, because it's a bloody hard decision in my view of who you. I think we're in a very it's a great position to be in. I think the default is you bring Saliba back in if he's fit and he's ready. You bring him back in. Andrew, you made that face that not many people in the world see when I mentioned the name Mosquera, and I think it's only your beautiful wife sees that face normally. But we saw a face that you made.
Do the face, Andrew, do the face.
So he impressed you then. He impressed you then. He can't do it twice and that quickly.
What a player! I mean, you know what? I mean, to come in to fit into that back 2, and you think you're going to think you're missing Saliba, and then not even to think that that Saliba wasn't there was just unreal. I mean, he was absolutely solid. I mean, to even take the point where we had the little mix up when Forest hit the bar, it was only a little bit at the back, but he was the player that got muscled in and got the ball back. But it's just this calmness on the ball to wanting to bring it out from the back and and then drive to play forward as well. He was just solid. What unreal! I mean, we've absolutely stolen 100%.
You mentioned Forest's attempt on goal and hitting the bar. I suppose we should pay respect to our opponents. That was their only event in the whole game. So that's it. Let's move on.
You're right. On that note, can we just say, Big Ange took some serious stick in that stadium, didn't he? He took some serious abuse. And the loudest that stadium was all day was when they were all singing towards Ange.
And that's what I said about earlier, before I went and put the video on about the ladies' trophies and the men's trophies being combined. The atmosphere in the stadium on the concourse was flat, but you expect that as a 12:30 kickoff, and sometimes for the evening Champions League games, the concourse can be a little bit flat because people are coming from work and so on. But in the stadium for a 12:30, at times that was proper, and it was like cheer up Postecoglou. I don't go out for a beer at half. Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't go out for a beer at half time, and I went for a beer about 68 minutes, I think it was, a week for about 68 minutes, and the whole stadium started doing "Are You Tottenham" in disguise, and I was giggling away to myself walking back down the steps to my seat. Let's talk about another new signing, a signing who Liverpool wanted last season. He
I'm
decided
going to pull that
to change
face
his
again.
mind. You are going to.
I'm going to pull that face again.
Yeah. Zubimendi and this volley. Now the face, I can see the face in the green room underneath. He has pulled it. That volley was unreal. Go on, talk to me through your
Honestly,
as you're sitting there smoking a cigarette.
Mate, I wasn't in my normal seat on Saturday, which is because I would have had an even better view of it, but it's a little bit higher up, and just the technique on that is just unreal. I mean, you can just see that the ball's coming down. He's got his eyes on it all the way. His body position he puts, it's just, and when it hits the back of the net, I mean, that was the biggest roar that sort of went. I mean, that was a goal. If anyone needed that, it was him. And do you know what? That's the first goal he has ever scored from outside the area.
Yes, I know. And his first career brace by getting the goal in the 32nd and 79th minute. Now, it's interesting you say that wasn't your normal seat. So you were around in my block further back. And Dale's normally in the similar block and area to you. So would have a similar view to you. Just like Wenger designed that stadium so everyone could have the perfect view of the game. Yeah, perfect sight lines the whole time. What did you think of viewing the game just from that slightly different, from block 8 to block 5?
It's being slightly higher up was interesting because you get to see a little bit more, because obviously I'm right down on row 1, so you get you get proper pitch level, and seeing it a little bit higher up was interesting because you get to see a little bit more of like the formations, the way it's going, a bit like similar we were at Old Trafford. But the bit I didn't like was having the big concrete thing above my head. I could not get my head around that at all, and it's just sort of like every time there's a goal kick or something, I'm like, it felt like being at Everton. You know, you sort of like going, where's the ball gone? You know, wait for it to pop down. But yeah, it was. I mean, don't worry, it's a cracking view. You're not going to moan about a view from the stadium, but yeah, I can't wait to be back down the front again.
Yeah, you're row 28. So when they extended club by 4 rows, that's where that concrete thing, and then they stuck the screens in so you can see the screens. Zubimendi, Dale, what did you make of his 2 goals? Like the first goal was wow.
Well, speaking about where we sit, it was. I love my seats for those goals because I'm row 14, so I'm just above the crossbar, directly dead centre of the goal in block 8. I had a perfect view of it down the clock end. Is volley down there, but at the same time I had the other goal this side, so I saw both fantastically. And because after the first one, when he volleyed that, you may remember about 5 minutes later the ball came back out to him again, and he was going to do it again. And everybody around me went, he's not going to do it again, is he? And he didn't, but I was praying that he did, because when you see a strike like that, it's special, right? Regardless of what happened, I see a comment, Demsex made a comment about the swerve on the ball being crazy. It is, and there's no denying that. But the technique to get over the ball and connect like he did, professionals talk about it all the time. That's a hard strike to make. And it is indeed, Adam, a goal of the season contender. They mentioned that on Match of the Day as well. And said it is a goal of the season contender already. How can it not be? Like you say, it's outside the box. He's not the person you'd expect to strike a ball like that. But by God, did he hit that?
So did it take a deflection or not? I maintain it didn't. I think it came very, very, very close. But the curve he put on that ball, as Demsek said, it was outrageous. I don't think he took a deflection.
No deflection. The ball. Look at the trajectory of the ball before it takes. Thanks, mate. Before it supposedly takes that deflection, right? It's already on the way out. The ball is already curling round. It's already going towards taking the defenders, going bypassing the goalkeeper. There's no deflection. I can see it how they say it will do, but looking at that now, I wish I had the Match of the Day style drawing on here. You've got the 2 defenders right in front of you. He hits the ball and it curls round towards the top right hand corner. There's no way that took a deflection, and if it did, it's only minor and had no impact on the ball.
It didn't take the goal away from him at all. No, but I don't think there was even the slightest contact.
No.
So
even if there was, it would have made no difference to the result. That was going in the back of the net all day long.
Right, let's talk about somebody else. Some people are still jury out on this guy. He left his girlfriend to play in red and white. I know he doesn't like the song very much, but Victor Gyökeres,
where's that come from? He doesn't like the song very much. Is he actually
said? I heard it somewhere on some. I think it was Ian Stone talking.
He'll grow to love it.
But listen, we'll talk about Eze and we'll talk about Madueke in a second. But Eze and Victor Gyökeres really connected really well in that game. that was a typical number 9 poachers type goal.
What we've been screaming for.
Exactly what we've been screaming for. And he was really unlucky, which you will have seen very clearly from your seat, Dale. He was really unlucky not to get the second when he hit the crossbar upright sort of thing.
God, didn't he just as well?
Do you know what though? Just coming back to that though, that one, that is a hell of a shot. But it's the movement of that when he hits then hits the post. It's the movement of the striker, which is brilliant. The way that he goes over and comes, who'd have the ball, and he just ran around the back of it.
Through to him.
Oh, it's unreal. The one where he hit the post.
Oh, who put the ball through to him there?
Is it Madueke's got it?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Was it Madueke or was it Zubimendi? I can't. It doesn't matter anyway. Just
but he just runs around the back of him, and but that is exactly what we've been screaming for: is someone who's going to be in the box to get those vital tap-ins, put it in the back of the net, but someone who's just going to move for us up front and give us some options.
Just briefly going back on the Zubimendi goal, Demsek makes a really good point. Raya said about the Liverpool game because I did meet an idiot. I actually met the human personification of a Twitter troll on my rounds with my my clients.
What's going on with the big words today?
What?
You've come out. I'm not even going to try and say what you've just said.
What was that?
Personification.
Personification. Yeah. It means just like a physical reenactment,
a manifestation of the personification.
Absolutely. There we go.
Spot the uneducated one.
Trevor's not here. This is why they joking, Trevor, if you're watching. I'm going to get a text in a minute, aren't I? But this guy came along and said to me, Raya should have got his hand to that ball against Slavinsai or whatever his name is. But it could be the same thing here. Raya said it, how the ball moves, the new ball moves. But let's get back to Gyökeres and how Gyökeres teams up with Eze. I thought the way they worked together, not only for the goal, because the pass from Calafiori to Eze and then the run by Eze to give the pass into Gyökeres was sublime and was great, and we want to see more and more of that. We were crying out for it last year. But there was also another opportunity which nearly came off into a goal, where Eze had the ball around in front of Arteta sometime. Andrew, you might remember this. And he lost the ball, but as he lost the ball, he flicked it back, and Gyökeres was there ready to pick the ball up. Yeah. And then he just found his way and weaved into the centre, and he got laid off, and nothing came off it, but it was just the connection. It's only 5 games in. They've had an international break where they've been away from each other for 10 days, but you can see those connections, and that was the biggest positive I think I got out of the game on Saturday. That these new players are starting to really interact very, very well with each other, and we'll go into Madueke as well in a second.
They are, but go back to that one where Gyökeres hit the post. Just briefly. Listen to the crowd after he hits the post. The stadium went mental because of the build-up play for the goal, because that's what we've all been looking for, is that movement and that slick, quick movement, passing, gone. And it nearly led to it. The stadium went nuts. The screams of, I think it was the Arsenal chant that was going around, and it went on for ages, and it was so loud.
Dale, your thoughts on it?
I don't think we've touched on one of the biggest strengths of Gyökeres so far, if I'm honest with you. We know he can shoot. We know he can score. We know he can move. His pressing game is unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's whether he's being told to do that or not, I don't know. But we've not had somebody who presses like that from the top in a long, long time. And he forces mistakes. The amount of times Forest kick the ball out of play through nothing more than Gyökeres pressure, it's fantastic. We've needed that for such a long time. And his goal, he had to be there. Now, I'm not going to put anybody down. I'm not going to say anything about any of the strikers we've got or anybody we've had in the past. But a striker is in that position. An out number 9 is there, ready for that cross to come in from Eze to put it in. Just like Adam said there, a proper fox in the box, right? Someone who knows where to be, got the right movement, and they can put it away. I'm not sure if we've had that for the last few years. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Gyökeres is going to be there every time because he wants it. He's hungry, and his movement and his pressing is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Dan H has come up with a good comment again. Reminded me of the Arsenal a couple of seasons back. It felt like last season we're very robotic and slow, not helped by injuries, of course, but we're electric in a lot of our play on Saturday. I don't think we're totally electric, but at times, yes, we were a lot more fluid and a lot more attacking and less of the horseshoe moments of sidewards, backwards passing. It did remind me more of when we were having Smith Rowe and Saka breaking through, and it was that more on the front foot going forward. It was helped by what has to be said, a very poor Nottingham Forest. I don't put any of that down to Postecoglou, really. He had one training session with them, and I think he just left them go out and play what they normally played, but they just weren't good enough, really, at all. Let's look at Madueke then. Is that face again? Is it? So Madueke.
Only because you've timed it perfectly. So I'm literally just looking at his stats now, and I've just found him. And I've just found a cracking still of the Madueke pass to Gyökeres when he hit the post again. But you know, it's like most touches in the opposition box so far this season, top of the list, it's Moni Madueke. I'm struggling to say his name again. 9.66 already, you know, there in front of Grealish, Mamouche, Minter, and Anthony Gordon. So, you know, you're talking about we've stolen Mascara. I mean, this guy, how did Chelsea let him go? Let's be honest. I mean, he is a heck of a talent.
You know, the only reason they've let him go is they've got too many players. They've bought way too many players. And because they buy them under a certain age and they can sell them, they make 100% profit back. So they can write it off the books on their books and everything else. But it's all creative accounting, I think, more than anything else. But if I was a footballer, I probably wouldn't go to Chelsea because I think you're just going to get ed up in the machine and be churned out the other end. And if you're not mentally strong enough, that could ruin your career. But clearly, Noni is mentally very, 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 very strong. What I liked about his style of play, whilst he can emulate, another big word, he can emulate Saka running up and down the wing. I think by the time he gets that 18 or 6-yard line, he's cutting in. He's far more direct, and he's running at players more. Saka, he did go to the byline and did cut in the byline too, but Saka generally always go to the byline. Dale, do you agree, or what's your view on the difference in style? And listen, does Saka get back in the squad again? In the starting 11 again?
Saka has to earn his way back in the squad because every player has to earn their start. We're very privileged to have. We can put 2 Premier League 11s out now, so every player has to play for their squad, their position. And Madueke's playing exactly like that. He's a very, very intelligent player, and I didn't realise how intelligent he was until I can't remember who. It may have been that pass to Gyökeres when Gyökeres hit the bar. He had plenty of time. It looked like he had plenty of time on the ball, and everybody was going shoot, and I thought he was going to shoot. But he didn't. He waited and he waited and he waited and he picked the pass.
I think that was Eze that was, wasn't it?
No,
I can't remember.
You
might be right.
I thought it was Noni.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Noni. But and the amount of times that he could have done one thing, but had the intelligence to do something else. He's very, very. What's the word I'm looking for?
Good.
I don't even know. No, yeah, we know he's good. The word I'm looking for is where you can play in multiple positions and you're just as good in one position as the other. Versatile.
Versatile, yeah.
He's very, very versatile. So we're very privileged in the fact that we were talking about Eze playing in a 10. We were talking about Saka being back on the right. We were talking about Noni potentially playing on the left. We're very, very privileged at the moment. We've got those players who can play in multiple positions. Every single player in that starting 11, be it Saka, be it Saliba, be it Noni, be it Gyökeres, they've all got to earn it. Because let's not forget as well, we've still got Kai Havertz to come back yet. And we were singing his praises last season, and he was our top goal scorer in the Premier League. Let's not forget that. So Havertz is going to be chomping at the bit to get in that team. But at the same time, Gyökeres is going to want to perform to keep him out of the team. It's the same with Saka. It's the same with Noni.
It's a nice segue into Demsek's question here. We lost to lower league clubs drawing from a lead. If Gyökeres hammers lower teams, the job is done. Because we had difficulty in breaking down that low block, etc. When talking to Dan, Dan still wasn't like I said, a huge supporter of the club, but I think he would have rather Sesko over Gyökeres, and he said Gyökeres will bully, quote unquote, Gyökeres will bully the small teams. Let's see how he performs against the big teams. But bullying the small teams answers that question down there by Demsek. You know, if we, this question, I've got too many coming up. We won the leagues. We lost to lower league clubs because of that low block, and he can come in and help us in that case. Go on,
Gary's. Can you just highlight Gary's comment there as well? I think that's a very good point, and we've had the conversation several times today already. We'll have these discussions week in, week out, and it's a fantastic position to be in, one we've been yearning for a long time, and one that hopefully takes us to our first league title for a number of years. So, fair play.
Yeah, well, to be honest, again, that's where Demsek had said about, you know, do we play better with Ethan? And it's the strength and depth in the squad with having the likes of Ethan and Dowman that can cover for Odegaard. And depending on the team we're playing against, I think if we're playing against, man, you see, the problem is you got to Odegaard is your captain. So you should always be picking your captain probably first. But if you're playing the likes of Man City and Liverpool and so on, you probably want your Odegaard playing. If you're playing somebody with a more low block, you might probably want somebody a bit more dynamic. And I don't know. I'm not a football coach, but
do you not think though this year? Yeah, but do you not think we've got that versatility? Go back to that lovely word again of being able to change games when we want to this year. Let's go back to PSG last year when we had Jimmy Gower on the bench and we had Max Dowman on the bench. And, you know, we all said at that point, we were like, whoa, look, you know, our bench compared to theirs is crazy. You look at where we are now and what we can do. I mean, let's go into playing one of those teams that plays a low block against us. It's going to happen, and someone's going to come and they're going to park the bus. So if you can bring on Madueke, Eze, you've got Saka fit, Odegaard, you've got Christian Norgard. I don't even mention him yet. You know, I mean, he's another cracking player that we've got that's not even made it onto the bench yet. I don't know if he's injured or not. You know what?
I don't think he gets a look in this squad.
But he probably doesn't, but he's a cracking player to have as a backup again, isn't he? You know, all that experience in the Premier League. Oh, yeah, but, you know, if you need him, he's there, isn't he? And that's what we want to come back to. But you imagine if we're going against the low block and you've got all that to turn around to and look at and go, well, tell you what, I'll have Saka, Madueke, Eze, Gyökeres, Rice, Odegaard, Manweri. If you push all them into one team, that's a hell of an attacking force if you need a goal.
Yeah, true. Listen,
I think we're being harsh, guys, there on a day, if I'm honest with you. Norgard is.
No. I'm not being harsh.
I do agree. It's hard to get in that screen in that team.
It's just of course the quality of this squad. The quality of this squad. Sorry, Dale. The quality of this squad is so good. The levels. When we signed Norgard, I was pleased. But I think we've signed way above that level since. And now our expectation levels are, well, hang on, Norgard's fine, but he's not getting a look in. I think he can be really good from set pieces. You could bring him in, you know, in the FA Cup, League Cup, and even, you know, Burnley away maybe when you need that.
When it comes to game management, he's a specialist. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's got the experience. We brought in Jorginho for the very same reason, right? Jorginho. Yeah. We had better players than Jorginho, but sometimes you need that game management. You need to bring on that player to sit there. You're away, you're winning 1-0 away at Liverpool, for example. We know it's not going to happen now, but let's use this as an example. We're away 1-0 at Liverpool. You got 10, 15 minutes to go. Do you bring on the likes of a Zubamendi? No, you'd bring on a Norgard over Zubamendi all day long because Norgard's the one who's going to hold that game out. He's an international captain. He was a Premier League captain, and he's got experience coming out of his ears. He can control a game. Demsek's just said the same there. Norgard is Jorginho 2.0. Exactly what I've just been saying. I think he's underappreciated because one, he hasn't had a chance to prove what he can do yet, but two, because the rest of the players ahead of him are currently performing. But there are definitely going to be times where we need Norgard over a Zubamendi, over a Rice, and I do think his time will come at some point.
Yeah. A special mention as well. He didn't have very much to do, but it's another clean sheet. David Raya. I think he made one save all game, but you know his distribution and his management from behind, I thought was really, really good. And
100 appearances as well. On his 100.
Yeah, 100.
Yep, 100 appearance for the Arsenal.
41 clean sheets as well. Listen, we've pushed and mentioned this. We've done a special on last Wednesday with Andy's Man Club. We had Alex on there. Especially in light of the recent passing of Ricky Hatton. guys out there, we all need to talk, guys and girls. So, Andy's Man Club, or go to Hub of Hope, I think it is, and find any local charities if you need to. But it's good to talk. We'll push this every week that we are on here. So, let's move on to Europe. So we have got Club Athletic, or Bilbao, as we all call it, versus Arsenal. Dan and the boys are already out there. A lot of the Arsenal are turning up today and tomorrow. We've got an early kickoff in the Champions League. It's 5:45. Arsenal have won their first six home games in Europe last season, including 4 in the league phases. Victor Gyökeres, who we expect to start, has scored 6 goals in the Champions League when he started for Sporting Lisbon last season. And Athletic are in the Champions League proper for the first time since 2014-15, and their only previous appearances in 98-99. What are we expecting? Dale, changes to the lineup. What are you doing to the lineup?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? You always want to get a good start to the Champions League. You really do. And it goes back to having the squad we've got now. They've got no Nico Williams, by the way. He's been ruled out. So their star man, so to speak, isn't there. So does that affect our lineup? I don't know. You've got the likes of Lewis Skelly, who'll be chomping at the bit to come in. But can you drop Calafiori based on his recent performances? I don't know. I don't think you can. You'll have the likes of Ben White there. I think it's probably a little bit too early for Saliba. I'll be very interested to see the lineup here, but I expect him to play a little bit safer being away from home. I don't think we'll be as adventurous when it comes to changing the team. I think we'll stick to what we've been doing well. I'm not sure where you go with this one. We know there's going to be no Odegaard, right? So who do you start in that 10? Do you start Wanyeri? I think you have to. I think you have to start Wanyeri after his performance the weekend, which means does Eze start again on the left? I personally would keep the team very similar to what it was at the weekend, in all honesty. I don't see any reason to really change anything. In the Champions League, my opinion is always get it done early. What you don't want to be doing is chasing results the longer the tournament goes on. Get it done early. We could play a full strength team in this, but you've got to also consider we're going to have one eye on Man City at the weekend. We've got Man City at the weekend, right? It's a big game. So it's a very risky situation for Arteta, but one that I've got no doubt he'll do the right thing. I personally would play what I believe to be our strongest lineup. And then if we're comfortable at half time, which I think we're capable of, maybe then start to make some changes with one eye on Sunday.
Andrew?
I think it's going to be a tough game. This is going to be, you want to start off on the strong foot, don't you, and go and get the points and get them on the board early. I think it's massively important we come away from there with a fully fit squad. I think it's really important there that we come away with something from the game. Obviously, I'm going to say we're going to win it all day long, but if we come away there with a 1-1, do you know what? Fine, with one eye with what's coming up at the weekend. It's going to be hard. I mean, they're not a slouch. This team, they're not. They are really, really good.
Okay. Go on. So finish. Go on. Finish.
I was going to say, they've won the 14 of the last 18 Champions League matches. So they're not.
No, that was Europe. That was European games because
European
they've been in Europa League and stuff as well. Yeah, I saw that stat as well. So thinking ahead, then beyond this game, not that I want to go further than one game ahead because you take every game as it comes, but we're playing Man City. Which game is the more important game?
Both of them, in their own right.
I agree. I don't think you can sit there and say one's more important than the other. I think they're both as important. They're both, in my opinion, games we have the potential and expectation to an extent now that we should be winning these games.
Let's be honest. Every player is going to want to play in that game, aren't they? The team that went out on Saturday is going to want to go out and go again. Rice is going to want to get back into that midfield. And it's going to be interesting because if Odegaard's not in, how's he going to change it up? And it's like we were saying earlier, it's a cracking headache to have. Who are you going to put into that midfield?
Yeah, I think it's unlikely that Odegaard will play if he's got a niggling shoulder injury. I don't think they'll play him again in so soon. Especially if he's got one eye on Sunday, and he wants him to play against City. It's just really interesting to see how it'll work out. Look, listen, I didn't watch very much. I didn't watch any of the Manchester derby. But I saw that Manchester United were absolutely appalling. Did they make it? I don't know if either one of you watched it. Did they make City look better than they've appeared so far this season, because City haven't been great. I know they brought in that keeper from PSG, which might give us PTSD when we play them on Sunday.
Tell you what, that save that Donnarumma pulled off down to his left-hand side. Oh, it was unreal. What a save that is. And, you know, you've got to take your hat off to him for that one. I mean, what is he, 6.5? I think the commentator said, well, he's 6.5 foot, but he managed to find an extra couple of inches to get that round the post. And it was just, great save. But I do agree. I think United are poor. You know, they are shocking. And you look at some of the players they brought in, you'd expected them to be better. And, you know, it just kind of like they gave up. You know, when they were 2-0 down with sort of half an hour to go and Haaland puts it in for 3, you just think didn't even offer anything. So I don't think we can read too much into it. I think the way that we are at the moment, they've lost. They've only won 2, haven't they, so far in the Premier League? So far, it's a big test. It's a big test for them to come to the Emirates, and it's a cracking game for us. And I am absolutely gutted I am not there.
Yeah, you're not, are you? And Dale, you're 50-50 at the minute as well.
Be all right. On that note, in fact, can I just take 30 seconds to say my son Oliver, I'm really proud of him. You know, it's he's had a bit of a nasty injury on Sunday. He was assaulted on the football pitch. That should never happen to anybody. Fractured his cheekbone. I just want to say, Oliver, really proud of you, mate. And yeah, speedy recovery, bud.
Yeah, well done, mate. Keep going.
Well done, mate. Yeah, and listen, I know we do community stuff, but sometimes, but anybody who's got a kid playing in football, boy or girl, whatever, playing in football, you know, just teach them right from wrong. You know, going out and cracking somebody in the side of the face and fracturing their cheekbone is just totally uncalled for. You know, a bit of respect. You know, that's what we expect our players to do on the pitch. It should be no different. When
he's just heard me now. He's just heard me. Look at that for a shiner.
Oh, hello, mate. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a boxer's. Yeah. So right. Okay. So what are we expecting then tomorrow night? We got speedy recovery from
Thanks,
Dan,
guys,
and Trevor and so on. So thank you all for that. What are we expecting then, lineups wise? We obviously got Raya in goal. We got probably, I would say it was Mascara, because I don't think
I wouldn't like Saliba.
Yeah, if you're going to bring Saliba on, bring him on for 10 or 15 minutes at the end. So Mascara, Gabriel, Ben
White. I think
I think Ben White. Somebody said he's injured at the minute again.
Is he?
Yeah, there was a note further up in the messages up there. Ben White missed training today, Dan said. So I don't know. So I would probably have Calafiori or Lewis Skelly on that left-hand side. Timber was outstanding on the right. I'd put him there. I'd have Rice and Zubamendi in the middle. Wanyeri, yeah, probably. I don't think Max Darman can play in the Champions League just yet. So I'd have Wanyeri in the 10 role. And then it's just, what do you do with the forward line? Gyökeres for sure, because Havertz isn't available just yet. And then it's probably Madueke, because Saka's not fit just yet. And it's just the real debate around is, do you start Rice or Marino? Do you start Trossard, Martinelli, or Eze? Thoughts? Oh, go on, Andrew, go. So,
that front three picks itself for me. There's no argument. It's Madueke, Eze, and Gyökeres up front.
Okay, Dale, same.
Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Fine. I think that's the easiest choice to make. I think of the whole team.
I think there's two positions for me which you've got to question, and it's mainly down to their injury record and their fitness levels. I think they've both been extremely important for ourselves over the last few games in particular, and they've started the season on fire. You've got Calafiori on the left, and you've got Timber on the right. Both extremely important players for us at the moment, both playing out their skin. But we can't hide Calafiori's injury record hasn't been great. He's been fantastic as of late. But at the same time, Timber's still he's obviously back from his major injury now. But can we play in 2 games, 3 games in the space of 7 days at the moment? I don't know. I mean, they're the 2 positions that I'd question. I wouldn't question their abilities, because it's not about that. It's about managing game time. I think I saw a comment in the comments a moment ago. Is what I was thinking. If you intend to play Calafiori on Sunday, then maybe this is the game for Lewis Skelly. I don't know. Oh, there we go. It was Lemsek. So I don't know. Let's not forget, we've all been waxing lyrical about Lewis Skelly over the last kind of 6 months or so, saying how good he is and just how mature he is for his age. He needs to play some football at some point as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would just put the strongest 11 we've got. Go and get it done. If it's on the hour and we're 3 up, change it. Let's just go and get the points and get out of there as soon as we can. Then concentrate on City.
Yeah, guys, I think this has been a good use of an hour. Hente has enjoyed his hour and he's now out for a run. The one last photo I've got to show you guys is, hang on, let's just get rid of that banner. We all turned up in the pub and everyone was wearing the same top. So we all 3 pints of Guinness and 3 of those tops, including 18-year-old Theo. Shall we leave it at that?
Yeah, leave it. Let's leave
Andrew,
it there.
can I just say as well, a big thank you to Theo, mate. He reached out to Oliver and he texted him. Oliver and my son Oliver and Andrew's son Theo, they'd never met each other until Saturday, and they went for a walk around the stadium where we were all on the concourse. And Theo actually texted Oliver last night, so it was greatly appreciated. Thank you, Theo.
Yeah,
well done. Well done. Yeah, it was
I'll
good.
No, thank you, mate.
My grandson was at this as well, and the one comment he was waxing lyrical about all the players that we have, but the one thing that stood out for me was when Gyökeres went in and I think he shoulder barged somebody off the ball, took the ball and left out from defence. I think you mentioned earlier, Dale, was his work rate, but his strength. He's so strong as well. I think that's the other thing we've got. Listen, guys, I'm going to press the button. I think we should press the button. I know Trevor gets really excited about it. I meant to bring a new one. I had a new one, but let's do this one here. This is the one from the Blackstock. I love that bit at the end when you can hear Sam going, "Forever." It's absolutely brilliant. Listen, we got 534 people watching across various platforms. We'd love if you could take a few minutes to go across to Guns and Yellow Ribbons on YouTube. Click like and subscribe. It does help us. We earn all of next to nothing. What we're trying to get to, we've been running since 2017. We've been monetizing on YouTube for about, I think this is the beginning of the year, and I think I'm not quite to 20 quid yet. But what I would like to do is by the end of the season, YouTube pay you out when you hit 60 quid. I'd like to buy the boys who come on here a pint of the finest Guinness in the Woodbine at the end of the season. So just for that reason,
I'm so glad this is recorded because you can't.
Yeah, so am I.
You know me. I never shy away from a pint.
I bet Trevor decides to drink that night.
He will do. He won't be on baby Guinnesses. He'll be on mega Guinnesses.
He will be propers.
He'll be on a pint of red wine and coke, won't he?
I like the sound. I'm going to try one of them. I like the sound.
No, that sounds disgusting.
On that note, a massive. I'd love to have gone, but those who've made the trip out to Bilbao, some of those journeys that have gone out there, horrendous. Going by land, by air, by sea. Fair play to all those who have travelled out. I'd love.
One of the lads is going by about 6 continents, isn't he? Jason's going out by
There's one gone via Marrakesh. He's got a 16 layover in Marrakesh. Kieran and the boys were flying to Barcelona getting the train across, and the train is not blown up, but it's like billowing a load of smoke and stuff like that. Trevor flew into one airport and then ran for another plane, and he's eventually arrived out there. Guys, I know some of you might be watching on here, but have a really good trip, safe trip. Sing up for the Arsenal. You have been watching another episode of Guns and Yellow Ribbons by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Andrew, Dale, thank you very much for your input. Really, really, really enjoyed it. I didn't know how this was going to go without having old man Trev. I'm so used to it. He's always like a safety blanket. It's been quite good. It's actually...
We've missed Trev time. What's going on? It's like we haven't got this 5 minute.
I've got the banner. We can put up Trev Tom if you want. No, let's stop. Right.
No.
We need to do this under an hour. Hey, listen, we're going to do it under an hour. Up the Arsenal, Fox Spurs.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.